Hello, how's it going there? My name is Mac Cameron, and tonight we are going to be designing a product, or at least doing as much as we possibly can in 30 minutes. I am the president and founder of a business called CoCreateX, and what we do is we help people complete projects, patent inventions, and start and grow successful businesses. We do lots of trainings, we host lots of events, and we would love for you to join our community. Just a really quick kind of overview of CoCreateX in general, CoCreateX.com. Again, this is a place where we can track generosity, and you can just say thanks to people who've helped you with projects by just clicking your Say Thank You button. And then also, if you just go to Ask for Help down here, this will plug you directly into our Facebook community page, which is completely free and open to everybody, and we encourage people to ask questions. If they need help with their projects, we can certainly help them there. I'm going to play a quick video about CoCreateX, just kind of who we are, and then I'm just going to spend the rest of the night designing a product live for everybody here. So no promises on how good or bad that is going to be, but it's going to be fun. We're hopefully going to learn some stuff, and maybe you'll see something that you can apply.
What we want to be, and for me it's like I always wanted it to be super, and that's what CoCreateX is. It's almost like igniting that inner passion of like, what did you want to do when you were little? Do you still want to do that? But we can help you make that happen.
CoCreateX, we started with the house.
So the house is a makerspace. It's a very open, collaborative space for people to learn by doing and interact with other creative people.
It's a networking place.
It's dynamic, it's changing all the time.
It's like this source of creativity. I mean, it's like you walk in, it's like anything is possible.
You can make 3D printed parts. You can do software, you can design things in CAD.
Usually somebody's in the garage welding or laser cutting or milling, machining.
We have the capability digitally and physically to make the majority of prototypes that you'd ever need in the world before going into manufacturing.
One of the great things about CoCreateX is the fact that we enable people to discover other people who are passionate about their mission and who have the capabilities that are necessary to create something extraordinary.
Just a huge range of people with really interesting stories and an interesting set of expertise.
Even if it's so far-fetched, like someone's making a medical device, to someone who's like, hey, check out, I can play this song with pens. It's that drastic. It's like you have so many different people.
It takes a lot of different passions and skills to make something successful, and we want to be able to break the barrier between the artists and scientists.
People come into this platform with all of this fire, and then when it kind of burns down to is like this ember of gratitude.
CoCreateX became a community with a very fundamental culture, which is just help people with projects and say thank you.
There's such opportunity in helping people to understand the value of helping each other and saying thank you, because it gets things done. It gets problems solved.
And thank you could be any number of things. It could be thank you with time, it could be thank you with money, it could be thank you with wisdom and experience.
I believe that this system actually can work, that people truly can get help if they need it and can give thanks, and that that's sufficient.
Help and say thanks allows you to be who you are and do what you love. And when that valuable exchange happens, it leads to human and economic output.
So next step is being able to track thank yous. We are exploring opportunities to create a cryptocurrency based on thank yous. And if you are being thanked for doing what you love, then that helps us accomplish our mission of a future in which everybody is enabled to make a living by just doing what they love.
Passion comes from purpose, and all of that grows with community.
We've seen a culture of people, helping each other and saying thank you emerge within this environment. So we're very excited about taking this culture and sharing it around the country. And so
we're getting a bus, and we want to be able to incorporate all of this stuff in our bus. We want to be able to have canvases for painting, 3D printers for designing and building.
So this is a full-size motor coach. It has under compartments into which we're planning on building our makerspace. We're going to be hitting the road and we're going to be sharing our culture of helping and saying thank you with people all over the country.
So with our CoCreateX creative spaces, whether that's in Minnesota, whether that's in California, even the CoCreateX bus, right, this traveling platform, you're always gonna find people who are so excited to be part of it.
You don't have to be alone in an endeavor. There's all these people wanting to help you and just excited to see what you're gonna create.
Check us out on our website. We'd love to see you on the road. All right, so that's CoCreateX in a nutshell, and we've been doing that. So we've been sharing our culture around the country and helping people with projects. So today, what we're going to do is go into a software that is very empowering for creators. It is called Onshape. It's onshape.com, and what this is a cloud-based computer-aided design software, which allows you to create parts in a digital space, as we see here, and send that off to be manufactured. Now, manufacturing can happen via three-dimensional printing. It could happen via laser cutting. It could happen via a whole number of different manufacturing methods. But this design software is so powerful because it creates solid bodies that can then be distributed to a number of different machines that have been built to manufacture the parts that we have on this software. So the part that I'm going to create today, and this is something that I have done some work on in the past, but is going to be what I like to call a human enhancement, but really a way for me while I'm at my house to hold my phone in front of my face while I'm cooking or while I'm doing stuff kind of around the house. This is just something that I think will make me a little bit more efficient. A lot of times when I'm cooking, I either set my phone up on something on a table, or I just simply have it in my pocket, which is not very convenient in many cases. So what I'm planning on doing here is ultimately using one of these goosenecks, similar to this product that I got at Brookstone, and actually figure out a way to connect it to my body via either a belt or a strap or some other method. So I'm just going to think here and kind of look at this thing. So the goal is to be able to hold this thing, somewhere around this area, so it's not so it's out of the way, but can also be moved to the side if I'm doing something here. So really it is the connection around this area that is going to be the most important aspect, and something that would need to attach to my body. It seems as though either having some sort of back kind of strap in which I could pull something down, or something that is more like one of those camera mounts that you would connect your camera to, could be a good place to start. So with that in mind, I'm going to try to design something that could fit around a belt. And nice thing about that is that I have the capability to design maybe a custom belt buckle that really could be easily incorporated just right, either into a belt or just using a belt to kind of hold something to my waist. And actually, I just happen to have a belt. It's a brown belt, and I'm wearing black. I know, forgive me, fashion gods. But this is what I can do. So I can design something that could be threaded along this belt, perhaps like some sort of square device that could be threaded around this, and then it can have the input of the base of this gooseneck. Okay, sounds easy enough. I could at the very least 3D print it and test it out. So an important tool for every designer is, of course, a ruler. And I'm going to take some measurements here. Yeah, I'll do it about 38 millimeters tall, 4 millimeters deep. So I'm going to start with something maybe just like a kind of a neat square. I'm going to also change the units, workspace units, into millimeters. We go okay. I'm going to edit this sketch, and then I'm going to put a dimension on this. Alright, how big do I want this to be? This can't be too big, otherwise it's going to really get in the way, but I'm going to say make it about 70 millimeters by 50 millimeters. Seems about right. Alright, and then kind of the thickness. How thick do I want this thing? Probably, I'm going to do it pretty thick to be sure, because we're going to incorporate some hardware into this. So I'm going to do 40 millimeters thick. So I've designed my box here. Now I'm going to extrude it. Oh, looks like I already have my extrusion here. So I'm going to create this as 40 millimeters thick. Alright, perfect. Okay, so next up I'm going to create the channel for this piece by doing an extrusion cut. And again, I'm going to do 35 millimeters by 4 millimeters. And let's do it slightly over here. So I'm going to go ahead and dimension this 35 by 4, and then I can extrude cut. So I'm going to remove this material. I can even do through all. Alright. Okay. So just to give kind of a good look of what this is going to look like on my body, I am going to just simulate what this belt is going to look like by doing one more sketch here. Then I'm actually going to create a line that's approximately 150. The thickness of my waist here is approximately 300 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is just simulate the making of this belt so I can kind of see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to do 150. Looks like this didn't quite work. Alright, 150. I'm going to do my square box. I'm going to do a construction line here. Just going to rotate this around itself. And I'm going to say that this is a new piece. Okay, so now what we have is kind of our belt area. I'm going to likely be facing, like this is going to be on the back side of me to start, but it totally could be on the front side as well, and or on pretty much any part of me, I guess, if we are testing it out. I don't quite know what it's going to look like yet, but I'm going to make this brown because my belt is brown. Where's a good brown? Alright, so now I've got my initial part here. And so this is going to be touching kind of my body here, so I'm going to want to maybe fillet these sides so it's not uncomfortable completely. Perhaps make it like that. That looks like it's going to be slightly more comfortable. And I just had an idea that I could probably just drill this hole all the way to the very bottom by sketching a circle right here. And one of the things I'm going to just quickly do is just measure the thickness of this piece. To see how thick my hole has to be. And this is, let's call it 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah, probably about 13 millimeters. So I'm going to do D, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this, remove, whole way down. And I mean, there we go. So now, when I actually have the rod there, so let's just say this rod is ultimately, it's probably going to go up something like that. Alright, so I'm just making the rod to see kind of what it looks like. So the rod is about 10 for this. Press OK. Alright, and then on this side, it's not perfect, but I think this is actually pretty darn close. I will be able to, oh, looks like pretty close to being done here, but yeah, I mean this is essentially could be one way to do it. So this is my belt, this is the device that I'm ultimately going to 3D print and test out, and then our rod is right here, in which case I can use the equipment that is currently on this piece by just unassembling this, using the same bolt, using the same screw, but just connecting it into the piece that I had made and test it out. So that is a start. There's certainly some things that need to be done, but hey, let's 3D print this out and maybe check it out next week. Thank you guys so much for joining. Matt Cameron, CoCreateX. Help you with your projects. Let's do this. Help and say thanks.